Hey, I'm here with Keith at Garden Supply, and as you can see with some big greenery around us, we are talking screening plants for sunny areas. So if you want a little bit of privacy, here's a place to come check out some plants.
Yeah, so screen plants are they're key in a landscape. I always tell people that they're the second thing you should plant when you move in. You know, if you've got a sun issue, I always think, you know, creating some shade is the most important, and then creating some privacy, giving yourself a place to retreat from work and from the neighbors and from, you know, all the hustle and bustle that you go through in a given day. I always recommend, you know, screening the backyard, but there's screens that you can do in the front yard too, so you can pull your car in without feeling like you have to wave to 2 or 3 neighbors at a given time. One of my favorite all-around plants is a curly leaf ligustrum. It's not like the old wild ligustrum that is spreading through the woods. Doesn't tend to take off or get out of control. It's a 10 to 12 foot plant. It'll work sun or shade. So we talked about shade plants for screen. This does a good job in the shade as well. And then osmanthus. This is a Fortune's osmanthus. Blooms white in the fall. This plant gets about 20 feet, probably 10 feet wide, so it's a big plant. Doesn't work in every situation. These guys could be trimmed down thin, 2 feet wide, something like that. You can do anything with them. You can hedge them. You can let them grow up naturally, like almost like a crepe myrtle-like shape. They bloom and they berry, so you get white blooms in the spring and you get purple berries in the fall. You can see some of the tail end of the blooms here on a different plant. So you've got that white. We're going to walk around a bit and take a look. This is a Spartan juniper. Again, 10 to 15. Does a great job. Evergreen, some berries. Clay is a perfect screen plant. Again, it'll work in a little bit of shade, but it'll go out into the full blasting sun. On this side, these are tea olives. Tea olives bloom. It's another osmanthus. It blooms spring and fall. Fragrant. If you notice a sweet fragrance in the spring or fall, that's probably what it is in North Carolina. And then another different texture, evergreen plant, green giant arborvitae, does a super job. And when you take a green giant and put it next to something like a magnolia, you see that different texture, and that's what you're going for. I mean, you want to make the green giant look as good as it can look, and you want to make the magnolia look as good as it can look. And if you take something evergreen like that doesn't really show it off as well. You know, when you change the texture and change the color up, really does a great job. And then this is a little gem magnolia, which only gets about 18-20 feet tall. Super fragrant. Bees love it. So it's good for pollinators. And a little gem magnolia will bloom from late spring all the way around until November. So it's just a perfect plant. And it'll grow from sun to shade and wet to dry. So again, the green giants are the same thing. They're pretty shade tolerant. You just don't want them in deep shade, and they'll do a great job. Some of the larger magnolias here and here, more little gems, and then last but not least, Chindo viburnum. Chindo viburnum is just a phenomenal plant. It grows 2 to 3 feet a year, as much as 4 feet in a year. Sun or shade, not wet, but damp soil or up to dry. And then all of the magnolias, I mean all the hollies do a super job. They'll grow sun to shade. Bees love the flowers, and birds love the berries. So it's you know, when you're looking at that kind of thing, you know, pick plants that are going to bring in some wildlife, that are going to give you a screen and give you a peace and quiet in your backyard, and start enjoying your backyard.